Guys, Wednesday, April 30th. My goodness, we're approaching May. We are approaching May. It's Double Impact. I'm your host, Gabe El-Taib. Jericho Green will be here shortly. It is interesting. That he's a little late. It's an interesting thing. Guys, we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff tonight. We're going to have a great time. One thing, hit the like, hit the share. Let's get more people in here. I need you. I need you. I need you to do that for me. You want to do that for me. You know you do. Like Obi-Wan, you want to get more people in here. So hit the like, share the link, all of that good stuff. Guys, I teased you with a thumbnail earlier in the day about Yojimbo. This is what we were going to talk about tonight until Jericho Green himself informed me that he has a hard out. He has a hard out. What that means in the biz, if you're not in the entertainment biz, you might not know this. But he has a hard out tonight at 9. He has to leave at 9 Pacific. So just 2 short hours from now. And usually we don't start talking movies till like 8:30. Yojimbo is one of the finest movies I've ever seen. There's no way to do it justice in a scant 30 minutes. So that shall not be happening. So I changed the thumbnail to this, Arnold's head exploding in the 1989 science fiction hit movie, Total Recall, Get Your Ass to Mars. So we're just having a fun hangout stream tonight. Just a fun time, joking around. I'm going to touch on Akira Kurosawa's great movies. So I was talking to my brother on the phone last week, about a week and a half ago, and he said something about Yojimbo. I said, yeah, I've still never seen that. And my brother was... apoplectic is too strong of a word. And by the way, my brother's name is Abe. It is Abe and Gabe. So you see where the comedy comes from in our family. It is Abraham and Gabriel, which don't rhyme. But he was not happy that I hadn't seen Yojimbo. He'd been telling me about it since he saw it when he saw it about sometime in the 90s when he was in college. I still lived here, San Diego. He'd gone back to Colorado where we were from to live with my grandparents, go to the University of Northern Colorado. Somehow when he was in college, he saw Yojimbo. And, I'd heard forever Akira Kurosawa's movies, especially with Toshiro Mifune, who's the star of Yojimbo, Senjuro, Throne of Blood, The Hidden Fortress, Seven Samurai. These are all movies from the 40s, they're the 50s, some into the 60s. And they say these are like the greatest movies ever. And I have seen now 4 of these movies, and I rented Throne of Blood last night. I need to watch it tonight after the show. These are the best movies I've ever seen. I was shocked at how good they were, because usually you get told to try this new restaurant or do this or watch this streaming show or whatever. And it's like, it's fine. These did not live up to my expectations. They exceeded them 10 times over. It's on another level, this stuff. And there's a reason all your favorite movie snobs talk about these as the greatest movies ever. And like, oh, I'm a little late to this. When my son was in elementary school or something, he didn't like coffee. My son, he's 26 now. But he was telling me, I don't like coffee. And I'm like, coffee and donuts. And like a few years later, like when he was in middle school or maybe early high school, he's like, Dad, coffee and donuts is so good. And it's like, yes, welcome to discovering what everyone's known for 100 years. That's how I feel about Akira Kurosawa movies. You can rent them all on Amazon for like $2.50, $3 a piece. Run, don't walk when the show's over. Not now. Watch the show, hit the like, share it out. But these are like the best movies ever. They have everything. I was hesitant to watch them forever because I didn't think they had humor in them. I thought they were just like badass and hardcore and killing and honor and swordplay and all this Japanese samurai stuff. And it has that in spades. But these movies are mostly dialogue and drama and true, deep understanding of humanity and what it means to have conflict with people and love somebody and die for something. And like these are some of the most sophisticated movies I've ever seen when it comes to the humanity in them. And the action's great, but the action is just like a side dish. The action is just a cherry on top. And the humor, that amazing humor that Harrison Ford has in Indiana Jones. That's the ones I always reference. The old Indiana Jones, not the dog shit new ones. Indiana Jones, and then the Star Wars, the old ones, not the new dog shit ones. That wry smile, right? That son of a bitch. That kind of thing that Harrison Ford does so well. This movie has that just right amount. It's like putting salt on a dish. If you don't have any, it's bland. If you have just a little too much salt, you ruin it. So the Marvel movies, the Marvel cinematic movies are awful, right? With that blah, 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 that smart-ass quip every 5 seconds. I can't watch the Marvel movies. They're the worst. I hate them with a passion. But Toshiro Mifune, the star of these movies that I've been watching, he just chews up the scenery. He has it in spades. He's like method acting, like when you thought Marlon Brando was the guy method acting at first. He's going around scratching himself, rubbing his chin, always got this look on his face. He's so cool and cocky and alpha, but in the awesome Han Solo way, in the kind of way where women love him, men want to be him. Like, holy shit. And yes, it's subtitled because it's all in Japanese, but I wouldn't want it another way. Like, I don't think that voice dubbing actors are necessarily bad actors. I think it's an imperfect science. Like, how can you capture the emotion that the other actor had? That was another human having another experience. Like, how are you supposed to capture it? I'm not saying that voiceover actors don't do their best, but it is better with the subtitles, obviously. So it's just outrageously good stuff. I can't wait to talk about Yojimbo, but not tonight, my friend. It deserves the proper respect. We're going to talk about other Kurosawa movies because I'm just in awe of this guy. I was watching some other movie. I don't remember what it was. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. And I turned to my wife and I said, I want to write something this good. And watching these Toshiro Mifune and Akira Kurosawa and these people, like, man, I want to make stories this good. Holy shit, these are good. So couldn't come with a higher recommendation. I checked out Yojimbo, then Sanjuro, which is like the sequel. Then I watched The Hidden Fortress, and then I watched Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai is 3.5 hours. And I think, and my wife asked me, she went to bed. And, I was up late. I started at 6, though. I knew to start it early in the day, but I didn't finish it until like 10:30 or 11. I took a couple breaks, and it even has a 5-minute intermission built into it. I took a couple breaks and didn't finish it till 10 or 11 or something like that. But she asked me about it, and I just said after I watched it, I was just laying there in bed, kind of floating, kind of just as an artist. I just appreciate art so much that I think as an artist, the reason you make art is because you saw it and you loved it, and it pushed the button in your brain perfectly when you were little, and it just made you feel so good. It made you feel so warm. It made you feel just such joy to observe great art. And I'm not saying only artists feel that; everybody feels that. But I think that's what inspires you to be an artist. You're like, I love that. I want to make something like that. I want to make something as important or as meaningful as that. And that's how I felt watching Seven Samurai. It has everything you want. And Seven Samurai has been done over and over. It's The Magnificent Seven was made like 4 years later in American cinemas, the Western, right? And then A Bug's Life from Disney Pixar. That's The Magnificent Seven. And so these things are done over and over and over, but it's not like, oh, everyone's ripping off Akira Kurosawa. I looked into it because I had a hunch, because I'm an artist and a writer, and I get it. You draw from your inspirations deeply sometimes. And he outwardly copies other stories, like Throne of Blood by Akira Kurosawa, the great director. That's Macbeth, the Shakespearean play. And he doesn't hide that. It is Macbeth, but translated into the feudal samurai kind of situation. But Yojimbo, the great Yojimbo story, that went on to be A Fistful of Dollars, starring Clint Eastwood, which lit up Clint Eastwood's career. That was the thing that made him blow up. But A Fistful of Dollars goes back to Yojimbo, but Yojimbo goes back to a 1930s crime noir novel by Dashiell Hammett, the American crime, one of the classic American crime authors, a book called Red Harvest. And that's where a lot of the plot for Yojimbo comes from. And there's nothing wrong with this. See, people don't understand this. I've been going on a deep dive on the Beach Boys for like the last 6 weeks. And what I found out about Brian Wilson is he drew some of his songs a little bit too closely at first from music he loved. His best song, in my opinion, my favorite Beach Boys song, I think his greatest song is Don't Worry Baby. And he said his favorite song was Be My Baby by the Ronettes, produced by Phil Spector. And you'll notice they both start with that drum just by itself. And Don't Worry Baby and Be My Little Baby. And he said he wanted to make a song just like Be My Little Baby. Also, I think Surfing USA, they did get sued by Chuck Berry for Little Sweet 16. And my point is, like, when I write something like Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, or anything I'm writing, it's like I'm looking at Indiana Jones. I'm looking at Star Wars. I'm looking at the things I love that just did it for me when I was a kid. And I'm like, okay, they did this, and then they did, I see what they did. I see why they did that. And like, I'm a real student of it. But to see other people that I really admire, like Brian Wilson, or now this Kurosawa guy that I'm getting into, and like, oh no, they drew from their inspiration, of course. Then you have George Lucas. He made Star Wars, of course. Everybody knows that. Well, The Hidden Fortress, the Akira Kurosawa movie from 1954, I think, something like that. It is one of the it's a huge inspiration for the first Star Wars from 1977. And when you watch it, you can see how that is. There's a princess that has to hide her identity and be guided by these guys that just happen into this adventure. They're two peasants, and they have to get her and this General Kenobi, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi. They have to get her and this general from the bad guys' territory back to somewhere safe so she can reclaim her power. That's the general plot of Star Wars. So there's nothing wrong with drawing on your inspirations. Now, you shouldn't put a piece of tracing paper down and just copy it. No. But I heard Scott Adams. He's a brilliant guy. He does Dilbert, right? But he's known now for his political commentary on YouTube. And he said when he was looking at how to be successful, he just looked at people that already did it. And then yeah, that's your roadmap. Just do what people already did. So that's always been a thing that I've thought about my whole life since I was a little boy. I remember being 7 years old. I've told this story many times about the process of success is just following the steps that people already did. It's no different than journeying from one city to another. Just get a map out and see where people already walked. I remember when I was 7 years old, it was bring your father to school day. And there was a Hewlett-Packard in Greeley, Colorado, where I was growing up. And one of the boys' dad was an engineer, and he saw all this technical stuff and computer bugs and mainframes and circuits. And I had no idea what he was talking about, but I loved the idea of computers because I loved Star Wars and I loved, like Robotech and Transformers. And I didn't know anything about computers, but I loved them. And I remember it came from outside of me. This vision came into my mind, unprompted by anything of, I was with this kid's dad at Hewlett-Packard, and there was a big mainframe computer in front of him, like a big desk at an angle with all these buttons and screens on it, and he was doing his stuff, and there was an exact copy of it next to his, another mainframe exactly like his, and I was standing at that one. And when I would watch him, he would go, bup, 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 and then I would just, and in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand any of this computer stuff this guy's dad is talking about, but I know I could do it if I just went with him to Hewlett-Packard and just copied him for a while. And I think people get hung up on their emotion and their dad didn't hug them enough and the bullies at school and the blah, you're fat, you're weird, you got a funny last name, you're this. And they convince themselves they can't do it. And if you realize that doing anything in life is just a math problem, it's just an algorithm. If I do X, Y, and Z, then A, B, and C have to happen. It doesn't really fucking matter who I am. You can set yourself free from that prison of not living your potential. And just getting older every day and going to this job or this relationship or this whatever, or you look in the mirror and you're too fat, or you look in the bank and you're broke, or you're not spiritual in the way you want to be. You're not living the life you could, but somewhere deep down you're convinced you're not allowed to have it. You're convinced you're not worth it. You're convinced not you, it's other people. Other people get the pretty cheerleader girlfriend. Other people get the good job. Bullshit. If you just do what anyone successful did long enough, it will work. Promise you that's true. And I promise you, if you don't do anything, you'll have decay. Nothing will work. So, and speaking of sticking to things, and really good news, my daughter, the great stand-up comedian, Minnie El Taib, she got hired at the Comedy Store. Isn't that fantastic? Now, for those of you that don't know, if you're into comedy at all, the Comedy Store is the mecca of comedy. That is the comedy club. There's not a bigger one. There's two of them. There were three. There are two of them. There's one right by my house here in San Diego, and the other one is on Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, Boulevard? That's not how that's said. Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California. My daughter's performed there many times, but she got hired to work at the one here in San Diego. I'm so proud of her. She's been a stand-up since she was 16. She's 28 now. And she's very successful now. She gets paid. She's getting spots. She's doing this. She's opening up for big acts. And I think this is just such a great thing because what an opportunity. You're going to be at the club all the time. You're going to be involved. You're going to see huge comedians when they come to town, network, all the great stuff you should do. And do you know what she did to be successful and continue her success as a comedian? She did what I imagined about that computer guy in my second grade class. She looked at other people, what they were doing. You can just copy that. And you just copy it long enough and you never quit, and then it just works. So None the Miser says, Pauly Shore's mom, Mitzi, ran the Comedy Store. We know the Shores. My granddaughter, middle name is Shore, one of her middle names, because Minnie loved Sandy. Pauly Shore's sister was my daughter's comedy teacher 10 years ago. When my daughter was in high school, I was looking at stuff and trying to help her out. And she was kind of like me, not getting good grades and this and that. But I know what it was. It's the artistic thing. And when you have a brain like ours, school's boring. It's too easy and it's boring. So you get bad grades sometimes. And I was like, I got to help this kid out. So I got her into comedy. She's done stand-up. She's done improv at the Groundlings in Hollywood, all this stuff. And I remember one of the weird days of my life is I'm sitting there writing a personal check to Sandy Shore, Pauly Shore's sister. So no, I DM'd Pauly Shore on Twitter the other day, thanking him, telling him how good my daughter is doing. And it was his family had a big deal. My daughter knows the Shore siblings. There's other brothers, and they still own the Comedy Store. That family still owns that. So I know the Shores on a personal level, as I know Sandy the most. Rest in peace. Sandy passed away a few years back. But yeah, for sure, we know the Shores. Everyone, if you're around in the 80s and 90s, you know Pauly Shore, buddy. I can't really do the impersonation, but he had this character he did on MTV called The Weasel, and he would talk in this really effective manner. It was like kind of like a hippie with a stereotypical like Southern California Valley girl, but Valley surfer bro chacho thing going on. So yeah, it was we know the Shores. That's they've been great to my daughter, and she's earned her place. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. A non sequitur, steroid injections suck. That is all. I feel like she's had one. Good evening, everyone, from Joe Musashi. Are we watching Yojimbo or a Fistful of Dollars? Well, we're going to talk about Yojimbo, but not till next week because Jericho has to leave early and he's not even here yet. But he'll be here sooner. Did Jericho not get the link today? Let me go see. Let's see. Do you have the link? He might not have it. That's happened before where he didn't get sent the link and then he's shown up. 2-year anniversary yesterday. Well, think about what you think of correct. I remember when you were a young lad and you were telling us you were going to get married. 2 years later, you got a baby. You're still married. Congratulations. I'm married 28. I am married 28. I have been married 28 and a half years. Hold on. This is my dinner, a protein shake. Right before the show, I realized how hungry I was. I realized how little I've eaten today, but it's too late to eat because I'm on the air now. Oh, the things I do for you guys. Encino Man. Nice. Yeah, that was a movie with what? Is it Brendan Fraser, and Pauly Shore? I don't know. Biodome. I remember Biodome in the commercials. There was a cover of the Beach Boys song, Do You Want to Dance? And I heard the song, and it was like a modern version recorded in the 90s. And I didn't know the Beach Boys back then. I was 15 or whatever. And then I was getting in a super shuttle, airport shuttle van at my grandparents' house when I was like a senior in high school, like 5 a.m. to go from Greeley to Denver to get on an airplane to come back here to San Diego to go back to school after Christmas break in 1995. And I heard the Beach Boys version of Do You Want to Dance? And I thought, what's this slow version of the song? I didn't know. Congratulations. 2 years is a long time married, I guess. Tony says Brendan Fraser and Sean Astin. Why do I think Pauly Shore's in Biodome? I thought Pauly Shore was in Biodome. Hang on, I gotta look that up. Pauly Shore Biodome. Is he in Biodome? Yeah, Pauly Shore's in Biodome. What do you mean Sean Astin? Sean Astin's in it too? I didn't know that. No, he's not. According to this, he's not. Cast Biodome. Did he have a small part? No, it's Pauly Shore and the other guy and the Fraser guy. No, it's who the fuck is the star of this? Stephen Baldwin. Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin. Oh, Encino Man was the Fraser guy. Gee, I'm getting my Pauly Shore 90s movies incorrect. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh, you're talking about Encino Man. Okay. Yeah, that's all a blur. All that stuff. All those Pauly Shore comedies in the 90s. Yes. I remember right before Richard Simmons died last year, Pauly Shore had been lobbying to play Richard Simmons in like a biopic. And I think as far as resemblance, he could do it. He has the kinky hair and all that. And, he's been a comedian. Richard Simmons is not a comedian, but he was a funny guy in his own way. So I don't know. The good, None the Miser says the good Baldwin. Yeah. Did you guys see that thing last month where Alec Baldwin was on the red carpet or something with his wife? She just humiliated him in public. They were talking about something in her show. She's like, when I'm talking, you're not talking. When I'm talking, you're not talking. And then he was all needy and weird and like trying to like kiss her ass and make her feel better after she just, type of not, symbolically bashed him in the face in front of everyone. That was terrible. And I don't know. That's ladies, a little bit of advice for you. The one thing you should never do to the man you're with is humiliate him. Could a man be dumb or stupid or have flaws or whatever? Yes, of course, everyone does, but it is the worst thing you can do. So if you want to drive a wedge between you and the man you're with, if you want to maybe work on ending things with him and ruining everything you have, but humiliate him, talk badly about him, shit talk him to family and friends, is stupid, roll your eyes, do that. It's actually the worst thing you can do socially. Worst thing you can do is have another man's child. That's the worst thing you can do. But the worst thing you can do when it comes to the mental is to call him a piece of shit. If you want him to check out on you, then that's how it's done. So yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really weird. So good news on the Big Man Comics front. Empyrean, I told you the sci-fi book is done. We're just working. I do a few spell checks. The spell check is like a 2 or 3 week process for me because I do the spell check, they get it back to me, I fix some errors, and then we send it out again, and we find the errors and stuff like that. And we just do a general art check, spell check, and I like to take my time. I will not in my house. It's really beautiful. Let me pop that up on screen here. Hold on. Holy shit, dude! I want this thing. This thing's not responding to me. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's 5 years after I click it, it does it. But yeah, here's a little bit of Empyrean. And yeah, it's coming. Look at it, it's flying through this ice field, this husband and wife, Oliver and Elvira. You're going to love this. If you love Star Wars, you love Interstellar, you love things like that, you're going to, oh, you're saying I'm pixelating. That's why it wasn't responding. Yeah, it's not responding. We'll see. Hold on. Hold on, I'm getting a message from Jericho, and I think the screen is pixelating. Okay. Am I here? Am I back? Is this working? Oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah, this is a gorgeous book. I don't know if you can see any of this. I don't know what's going on out there on YouTube. But yeah, we have a lot of great. Hey, am I here, guys? Am I here? Would you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me? I don't know. It crashed. The browser crashed and said something went wrong. And then it said relaunch. So am I here? Just let me know. Okay, Tony says 1, and she's all the way down under. So let's see. Share screen. Share screen. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, but this is the Empyrean comic. I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous stuff, guys. Let me skip ahead some. Look at this little AI coming out of his wrist communicator. This little guy. You'll see. It's fun stuff. And like I said, the thing that's so important to me in stories is the humanity of it all, right? The humanity of the characters, how they interact with each other, love, death, sacrifice, all of it. That's the most important part to me about all this stuff. And I want to make sure I get that right. And we spent a lot of time on this book. This one was started well over a year ago, you know. But I thought I would do something like this because the first thing that ever inspired me was Star Wars. That was the first thing that ignited my mind. So we have a sci-fi epic here. We have an evil empire. We have some rebels and stuff. But the story's not the same at all. It's not like that. You know, we were talking about stories being similar with Yojimbo and the Fistful of Dollars and with Seven Samurai and the Magnificent Seven and things like that. This is different. This is a wholly original story, and it's just fantastic. But it does touch on those concepts. It does touch on those similar concepts. So we have a lot of fun with it. And Tyrus, I took a break from illustrating that, doing the ink finishes on that for a while because I was doing the lettering on this book right here, you know. So that was about 2.5 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks doing all the lettering on Empyrean. But I am back in the swing of things. Working on the Tyrus book, drawing that one. So, and I hired a colorist. He got to work yesterday, the day before. So we got a guy coloring Tyrus, and he's like a 30-something year veteran of working in comics. So I'm very pleased. I think he's going to do an outstanding job working on that. I'll show you what I drew today for Tyrus. So I'll show you that. Let me grab that off here. It's going to my Dropbox. I save all my Tyrus work on my iPad when I draw it, and then I also save it to Dropbox in case the iPad goes kaput. I save it there. So let's see. Recent. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing to load here. My internet is a little slow. You know what I got this week? I have the hardware, but I don't I haven't gone out on my roof and set up. I got Elon Musk's Starlink. I got Starlink because I hate my current internet service provider. What's it called? Spectrum Internet. Fucking horrible internet. But I got Starlink from Elon Musk. My son got it for me for a Christmas gift, and it finally, the package came on like Monday. The big satellite thing. We finally got it, but it's in the living room. I need to go on the roof and set it up. But we'll have better streams once that thing's in. So holy shit, I'm trying to download this thing. It's taking fucking forever. Jeez. What program are you using your iPad for drawing? I've told you before, it's Procreate. It costs $10. There's no monthly fee. You never have to update it with paying money or anything. It's $10, and it draws better than Adobe Photoshop, which costs $55 a month. And you never own Photoshop. You just keep paying every month. So, yeah, that's a Procreate, which is strange because that's also a term for sex. I'm not sure why they call it Procreate, but, you know. So I'm getting a lot of texts. Oh, okay, here. Sorry. All right. Okay, well, let's see. You should do a samurai comic cake. Maybe. I mean, one of my co-collaborators, Akion, he loves Asian design and iconography. And I mean, we had a little bit of that thrown into Dean Cain. And in the Dean Cain sequel in Hong Kong, we're going to really lean into that stuff. I want to really lean into the martial arts and swords and maybe some samurai gear and, samurai's Japanese, obviously. But we'll be all over Southeast Asia, I believe, in that one. I'm going to do a rewrite on that one. But holy shit, this thing is trying to download. Hold on. Let me stop this download because this is pissing me off. Stop. Just stop. It's pathetic. Okay, I was trying to download an image to show you guys, but it was just taking forever to do. Too bad Andy Dick is the biggest. What are you talking about? How did Andy Dick come up? Oh, in the army now. Is Andy Dick in the army now? I know that's a Pauly Shore movie. Is Andy Dick in that movie? I don't know. How does it work being hired at the Comedy Store? Do you do a certain number of shows each week? It's something like that. Welcome, Jericho. Can't hear you.
There we go. That's better.
Okay. Real quick. It's something like that when you're an employee of the Comedy Store. Then there's shows for the employees, and I think if a big headliner comes to town and the manager or the headliner want you, then you'll open up for them and this and that. But it's just a really good place to be. It's a really good place to be if you're going to work hard and seize that opportunity. Minnie got hired at the Comedy Store, Jericho.
All right, congratulations. Not surprised, but happy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, so it's going to be awesome. How you doing?
Hot as shit.
Oh, I forgot. It's like hot as hell where you live.
Oh no, not yet. We're just. This is just the tip. That's all. It was 91 today, so we're starting to dip our toe. This weekend it's going to cool down to the upper 70s, and then Monday we're back in it with 87 degrees. So here we go.
Here's San Diego for the next 10 days. Looking at the weather app on my phone. Today, scorcher, 67.
Ooh.
And here's the next week and a half in San Diego. 68, 70, 67, 60. Ooh, chilly. 64, 67, 70, 71, 74. That's blistering 74.
Damn it.
So,
well, I hope you make it. Hope you make it through.
Gonna make
hope
it.
Hope you and your family make it through. We'll be looking at 80, 85, 87, 89, 88, 83, 83 again, 82. Then we dip down to 79. So that's going to be a frosty one, but I think I'll be okay.
I wonder how a place 600 miles north of me is so much hotter. So, you know what, though? I saw a map, like Europeans complaining about Americans and their air conditioning. If you go latitude for latitude and you line up America with Asia, Africa, Europe, do you know where we are latitudinally?
Yeah, latitudinal.
We're right there we're right there in the Middle East, like the heat they have in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Libya, Tunisia. Like, that's where America is as far as north and south goes. Like, well, fucking cool. No wonder it's so hot in so many places here. You know,
so this is one of them. Let me tell you, it gets pretty warm up here. And tomorrow it'll be 88.
Are you a Gold Bond man? Do you powder your nethers with Gold Bond medicated powder?
I mean, I've been there before if it gets to it, but you can't put too much powder or you have fucking biscuit dough down there.
Well, the worst you ever get that, like, you don't wear whitey tighties. I'm assuming you wear boxers.
Not so fresh feeling. No, I'm not 8 anymore.
When you were an 8-year-old kid, you're wearing whitey tighties. It's like a horrible hot day, and the edge of the underwear digs right into the thigh groin area, and then you get a rash there. And then you're walking like a cowboy because you got a rash by the end of the day from the underwear and the sweat and all the rubbing.
It's all bad, man. It's all bad.
When did you make the switch from whitey tighties to boxers?
I think like in high school.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think so. I was definitely out of the tidy whiteys by high school. It's just, the natural progression of things. Because if you wear them past a certain age, then you're a weirdo or a Mormon. Yeah. So one of the two. But I'm neither.
You can't be doing the little kid stuff when you're trying to be a cool high schooler.
No, you can't have the fucking He-Man underwear anymore. But I will say, I'm also, if you don't want to completely leave the brief, world, the brief department, you can go boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs. That's what I wear. Those are the best. Those are the best.
You could go right down the middle. That's the perfect right down the middle.
A little bit.
Best of both worlds.
A little bit of that.
50-50. I like it. So either way. But
dirt cheap at Costco and they're comfy.
Yeah, and if you want to wear the brief underwear, that's cool. They just can't be white anymore. Like you want to get a multi-pack with some blue and some red and gray in there, but tidy white underwears. You can't do that anymore.
I remember being at a department store when I was like in middle school, and there, there's packs of underwear and socks on it, and I saw a pack of underwear for men, but it was like zebra striped, like black and white with stripes. Yeah. It weirded me out. Thought it was weird as a kid.
That's the type of person it's for. The type of people with safety words.
Heather wants to know what kind of men's boxer briefs from Costco. I would imagine they're just Kirkland. I don't really investigate these things, Heather. I just get them for Christmas and Father's Day, and I'm like, cool, black boxer briefs. All right, thank you. I need more. Because men they'll hold on to the boxers until the things are like have more holes in them than Swiss cheese, Yeah,
it looked like somebody it took a fucking shotgun blast with some fucking bird shot. But you know what? That's how we do it, man. Just give us some fresh undies once a year, Christmas or birthday. Right. And we're good, man. We'll keep everything where it needs to be. For
sure. You're being accused of going commando. Is this a thing with you?
You know what? I wouldn't be against it, but I think this has pretty much happened to every guy. Have you ever gotten your fucking sack caught in your zipper? Yeah, you do that one time and you ain't gonna pull that commando shit no more. So
I'll tell you,
I can't run the risk. I can't run
the whole. I don't want to get graphic here.
Do it.
The whole getting it caught in the zipper, I thought was a meme from movies. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a really stupid, low-level joke. Like, how could you get caught in the zipper?
Until
when I was in college, I found out that can really happen. I will leave the story there. That's a bad time. That's a horrible time.
Yeah. I was probably about the same age. For some reason, it's like an early 20s thing. I think I was about the same age when that happened. Maybe later years of high school, early 20s. But yeah, I was in a hurry. And then, and you've all seen something about Mary. And it's so true because the hard part is laying the tracks. But now you got to back it out because you can't tell somebody. I guess you can tell your wife, but I mean, if she's not there or whatever, you're not telling any male people in your life. You're certainly not going to call 911. No. You're going to fucking back that zipper out. That's what you're going to do. And when you breathe on it, it hurts, let alone touching it. But you gotta, no pun intended, you gotta sack up. And for maybe a lot of men, this is the moment you become a man. But you gotta back that fucking zipper out because you gotta go. Especially if you're in a public bathroom, you can't stand around here all day with your nutsack caught in your zipper. You gotta go. You gotta back that shit out. And so there comes a point where you count down and backing it out. That's it.
I was in a restaurant the other day and I went to go use the urinal, and the guy, and it was a grown person, was peeing at the urinal, but his pants were to his ankles.
No.
I think something might have been wrong. I don't know. I just came in and saw like a butt and I was like,
yeah, you You better have a mental problem.
I don't know. I did what I need to do, wash my hands and got the hell out of there fast. Like, I don't know.
You can't do that, man. There's public etiquette in the restroom. I don't know. Do women have restroom etiquette? I feel like it's just a free-for-all.
Apparently they just throw pee everywhere. Women's bathrooms are 1,000 times worse than men's. Don't let
fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I think what the women do, that's why they go in pairs, because one girl pees, the other girl catches it in her hands like this, and then she throws it all over the bathroom.
That's what some do. Others, they grab the hands and they just spin their friend. You know, they just spin them in a circle.
And then they also say, hey, no, you're not going to throw that tampon in the trash, are you?
Take it to the wall.
It'd be much better served on the floor or something, or in the toilet. Yeah, women, I don't know what happens when you cross the threshold of a woman's bathroom, but you guys are disgusting. But as a man, yeah, you can't, there's no talking at the urinal. If you have the room, there's the one urinal buffer. And dude, unless you're a kid or you have a mental problem, there's no having your ass showing while you piss. What do you?
Right, because everyone has seen little kids do that because they don't know any better, and
because they're little kids.
But this was an adult. I was at a diner with my wife, and the guy in the restroom, it was a full adult, pants to his ankles, standing there peeing, underwear, everything to his ankles, and
ankles.
They were on the ground, like he dropped them to the ground, and he was standing there peeing. So
I thought they were
he must have been something.
I would thought they were just under the buttocks.
Nope.
But he took them to the floor.
They were on his shoes.
So man, if you walk in the restroom and you see another, no questions, clearly an adult male.
It was clearly an adult. You cannot.
So if you see, you have to say, and you have to be honest. Don't lie. Say, do you have a mental disorder?
I'm not going to ask.
And if they say
that, hey, are you dumb? Is there something wrong with you? Are you drunk?
You have to.
Are you?
And they have to be, no, there's no drunk high. That's not an excuse. If you don't have a mental issue and they're like, no, why do you ask? You should be able to take your belt off and strike him across his ass. Like, what the fuck?
Well, hold on, though.
What are you doing?
Hold on. Maybe that's what he wanted. You don't want to feed into this.
No, I'm going to hit you so hard.
Setup.
No, you're going to get hit so hard. There's no way you could like this.
There's a
I want that belt. You know how especially you living down near Top Gun, you've seen that cloud of air around an airplane when it's breaking the sound barrier. That's going to be at the edge of my belt when I'm swinging it. That's going to come in so fast and hard that you're not going to like this.
Like a horsewhip. You break the speed of sound.
Yeah, we're going to fucking.
And then we hear the crack like a second later because you went so fast.
We're cutting through to your childhood issues with that.
I was just trying to have a diner meal with my wife and the grandbabies. I got in, washed my hands, and got out. You know what? I had a million questions for this guy. I don't want to know. I don't want to know that bad.
But that shouldn't go on. That shouldn't go on in the restroom. We should all be getting in and getting out.
I sincerely think there was something wrong, like he was, mentally defective or whatever.
And if so,
that's the only explanation I can come up with.
If so, he gets 100% pass.
Yeah,
My bad.
He gets a pass,
But if not, no, you need to be reprimanded physically because you obviously.
There's a restaurant in Vegas. You remember where we were by the plaza on the Golden Nugget? At the end of that Fremont Street, there's a place called the Heart Attack Grill.
The scale outside.
They got the scale outside. If you're over 350 pounds, you eat free. And they put a smock on you like you're at the doctor. One of those smocks you wear when you go for an examination. And the girls are all dressed up as nurses that serve you all this really unhealthy, fattening food. But if you don't finish your meal, they stand you up and they spank you. The nurse gets a belt. You bend and put your hands on the table and that. Now, I've never eaten there. Would you? I wouldn't allow this. I wouldn't allow them to spank me. But what if they were trying to spank your wife? Right? Now you're like, no, we're leaving. Like, this is not good.
You're not spanking my wife. The fuck? No, dude. Somebody's getting knocked out. And even if it's a nurse, I said it. I told my wife, I said, if we're ever somewhere and a woman wants to get physical with you, I'll beat her ass. Like no one is touching my wife. Nobody.
Right.
I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a female. Now, I'll give you more leeway to get out of it. Like, come on, please. We don't need to do this.
Right.
Way more than a guy. But if we get to that point, she's getting rocked. And even more so, a man. Like a man, you're out of here. No way.
Right.
But a chick, dude, we're gonna fucking rattle your brain real quick. Fuck yeah.
Hold on. I think I found a picture of it here. Hold on, I'm bringing it up. But yeah, I've always wanted to eat at the Heart Attack Grill because they said they serve the fry. They make them in the tallow. But I feel like a lot of restaurants are going to do that now with RFK Jr. But I always wanted to have the fries cooked in the beef fat because that's obviously much more delicious. But I don't want to get spanked if I go there. But they said if you don't finish your food, that's what happens. I don't feel like they can make you do that though, right? They can't make you do that.
No. But I'm sure there's some guys probably going there like twice a week. Look who didn't finish their French fries. They're like, oh, come on. Never spank his ass.
Been a naughty boy again.
I've been a naughty.
See this guy, he's wearing the smock, and that's a waitress behind him. I get a boo-boo. I didn't finish my French fry.
Nah, hey, dudes are into that. But my thing would just be, how do you let that happen in public? Like, okay, you're into getting spanked. That's cool. But in public, in front of people, no, you're not. I'm not into that. I don't like that physical like pain. I'm not into pain. It is, but two consenting adults in the privacy of your own home, hotel room, or whatever, put down a tarp and get fucked up.
Or a hamburger restaurant in Las Vegas, same thing.
I guess. What happens in Vegas? So, yeah, I guess so, but that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. So we're not going to review Yojimbo tonight because this movie is so good. It deserves a full show. And you got a hard out tonight at 9 p.m. because you're getting up early to go get a spanking. Or you told me you're going to Spankathon.
Yeah. Spankathon, Spank Fest 2025.
2025. It's the Northern California section.
Yeah, the naughty. I've been a naughty boy. That's the theme this year.
But if you win Northern California, you're going to go to full state, like state and then regionals. So
I'm excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I have my I'm superstitious, so I do the same thing every morning when I go to Spank Fest. Like an athlete. I'm an athlete, damn it.
What's so funny about having a wife is I feel like I'm about to tell a vaudeville joke, but my wife, right?
My wife.
But it is fun to just incessantly tease them forever. That never gets old. I've been tease them since the minute you met them. But then they're like say they bend over to pick someone up, you smack them on the ass. They're like, oh, why'd you hit me so hard? And you're like, fine, I won't do it anymore. And they're like, no. Like just
wait. Yeah.
You know all about this, don't you?
They like it. Yeah, it's a playful game of cat and mouse. It's a sexual game. If the cat and mouse ended the game by having sex with each other, it's that kind of cat and mouse.
That's the weirdest episode of Tom and Jerry I ever saw.
Hell yeah. That's the last episode last season.
Right. They got canceled after that one.
Don't do it, guys. I watched it for you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of the playful nature. As long as you can think about something your wife did and it still makes you laugh, or you're still excited to be with them, excited to go out with them, excited to come home to them, then that's a good barometer for how good your relationship is. And of course, a healthy sex life as well. That's women, the moon has to be in the right orbit, and the crickets outside have to be at the right tune, and I have to feel good about myself for at least 48 hours. Like, it's so much more complicated for a woman to get ready for sex. A little hyperbolic, but you know what I mean. But for men, sex is how, not only is it a barometer for it's kind of checking the oil on your relationship, but
with
that's how.
Hold on.
Dipsticks. No, it was good. Dipsticks may vary in size, but it does the same thing. But that's it's not so much. And it's, again, one of these trendy. It's not my love language, but I guess it is men's love language. We're physical.
Please, Oprah speak. No Oprah speak, please.
We're physical. That it's as a woman, thinking of her man cheating on her, they'd be thinking more of an emotional connection. That's what would really burn their biscuits. But for men, it's physical, it's touch. So that's very important for us. And as long as that's there, you think of them and they make you laugh, or you're so excited to be with them. Sex is regular. They don't even have to be good. If it's happening on a regular basis, that's a good relationship. That's how you last. It's not, two old people. We've been married for 70 years and we go dancing. No. Sex is regular. and you can still make each other laugh, you're going to be till death do you part. That's
right.
The truth.
It's easy. Yep. Oh, he's working on a second baby right now.
Yeah, dude. Don't.
Yeah, put the phone down and quit watching us if you're working on it right now.
We appreciate it. Don't get us wrong. We appreciate your viewership.
Yeah.
But maybe, we'll
just
take a second.
Don't turn our YouTube off. We want the view. Just set it on the nightstand and proceed.
And turn the sound off, but still put it where we can see you.
No, leave the sound up. Me and Jericho can give you romantic encouragement.
Yeah. Get it. Get that baby.
Gonna make you sweat.
Ooh, name it Jericho. Yeah. I wonder if people have been listening to the show while they're having sex. Probably.
You realize that when people watch you on YouTube, any social media, they're doing everything possible because there's so many permutations, there's so many people.
Yep.
How many people have watched us and they're sitting on the toilet, right? That could happen. Eating a meal.
Kaboom. That probably
driving
happens
their car.
Often. But that means we've really woven ourselves into the fabric of their lives.
That's right.
Their commute, taking a shit in the kitchen right now. Some people are probably making something to eat.
Someone's making one of those Dagwood sandwiches with like 8 layers to the sandwich.
Yep. Somebody's picking their nose. Get your fucking finger out of your nose right now. Yes, I'm talking to you.
Right.
And somebody, somebody's doing everything right now. Probably putting the kids to bed. Go to sleep, you little shit. Parents are trying to make another one of you.
Go to bed. Your parents are tired. You want to rest
bastard.
Already. Yeah.
Listen up, you little fucker.
Can we get relationship advice from Robot Dad? Who's Robot Dad? We have so many guys that I've forgotten about.
Man, we got so many damn characters. It's like one of those pictures where all the Warner Brothers characters are together. It's like all of them, even the ones you only seen like in a couple episodes. That's how the characters are for the show. They're so.
Who was Robot Dad? I don't even remember. I know we did it recently. What movie was that?
That's a deep cut. We always got relationships.
I want to apologize about my. Hold on. I want to apologize about my Princess Bride comment typo. He was the head of the Gingar. I have Johnny Truth. No idea what you're talking about. I must have missed that comment. I'm trying to watch the chat, but I didn't see it.
What you're talking about.
Whatever it is, apology accepted. I hold harmless.
You've been forgiven.
It's cute. Yeah, Jericho's got a heart out at 9. We can't do Yojimbo in half an hour. We can't do it. Did you watch it though? Did you watch it this afternoon in prep?
Yes.
What did you the general impression?
No, I think it was a great movie. I remember seeing it. Man, we're talking like when I was a little kid. So there were like the scene where the first fight scene, I remember that. I remember him walking to the countryside in the beginning.
Right.
But yeah, I have seen this before. It was probably once years and years ago. But I thought it was a great movie. And I recognized, some of the ones that have copied it.
Right.
Not only the Clint Eastwood movie, was it Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Right. It was a Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars. And Last Man Standing.
Right. Right.
With Bruce Willis. So yeah, this was a great movie. I love the period pieces, that go way back. And I've known this, but it's kind of one of those things you forget about. But this movie really drives it home. This movie does not make Japanese sound like a romantic language.
No,
it's very guttural, very harsh, very serious.
How great is the lead actor? He has so much charisma.
No, he's so badass, dude.
He's always scratching and smirking. He thinks everyone's a dickhead, and then he kicks their ass.
He's like, look, you guys gonna hire me? I'll show you. I'm gonna go down here and fuck him about 3 years. I'll be right.
Yeah. When you have an entire go ahead.
He's like a Japanese Doc Holliday, to take from Tombstone.
Yes.
It's
swagger for days.
Yeah, for days and days. What? There's 10 guys to fight. No big deal. What needs to happen? Yeah, whatever. We can take it. Like just unflappable, unfazed, cool as shit. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm not a huge fan of subtitle movies, but this was good.
Right. When you have 4 hours, you gotta watch Seven Samurai. It's where we get the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven was made like 4 years there. I think I watched Seven Samurai Sunday afternoon and evening. I started it at like 6, didn't finish it till like 10 or 10:30 or something. I think it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. Seven Samurai. It's so good. So good. It has everything. It has humor. It has love and romance. It has violence. It has good versus evil. It has insurmountable odds with the super powerful bad guys and the weak good guys are trying to stand up to it. It has it all. And just amazing. And I always say this as an artist, as an illustrator, as a writer, especially as a comic book illustrator, the shots in these movies is exactly what you want to draw in a comic book. The way he sets up the imagery and where the people are in the light and the dark and the shapes of the images, insane. It just, I see why people have been raving about these movies for 70 years. For 70 years. Wow. Just
and
amazing. What a sad time in pop culture that, go ahead.
No, and the score, again, played a huge part in that movie too.
Yeah.
The score was awesome.
Yeah. I was going to say, what a sad time it is in pop culture now that to get enjoyment out of TV and movies and all that stuff, all of us are having to go back to old stuff. We're having to go back to the 90s and the 80s and, the 30s, 40s, 50s, like just go back. Like the new stuff is slop. It's just slop.
Yep.
Well, let me guess. The white guy is a racist piece of shit and the angry black woman's the boss and then the gay guy's the sidekick, right? Is that what we're doing again?
Oh,
we're doing that.
Don't forget doing that again. All the men are jackasses and the women are running shit. The women are the real badasses. The men are just like I've said this before. I don't know if I said it on Double Impact, but I've definitely said it on my channel before. That there was a cartoon in the 90s, the early 90s called Bobby's World, and it was voiced by Howie Mandel.
And Bobby's World with Howie Mandel. Yeah. That was the voice he did. I remember. I loved Bobby's World when I was a kid.
Yeah, Bobby's World. But there was in the scene in the intro where the dad Bobby's riding his big wheel down the hallway, and it's through the intro, like he's going on these different adventures with his imagination on his big wheel, but it starts in his house. So he goes down the hallway and his dad sticks his head out of the bedroom door like, hey, what was that going by? And he has his necktie around his head, like a headband. Right. So, dad is such an idiot that, he can't even dress himself. He doesn't even know where to put his necktie. So that has been, beaten into our psyche that dad's an idiot. Guys are idiots. Men are idiots. It was very prevalent in the new Amazon claims it's the #1 movie in America. G20 with what's her name? Viola Davis. She's president, kick ass. She's 5'5", 60 years old, and she's kicking names and taking ass through this whole movie. And the guys are just, and the women are just they quit one-liners. There's a scene where a guy, he has to be 6'3", 250 pounds, ripped. She's throwing his ass around the kitchen like he's a child. And that movie is indicative of where entertainment is. A lot of new shit is just that same garbage that we didn't grow up on. So we've had better food, but you're trying to feed us this bullshit. So you're forced. My kids, 99% of the stuff they watch is pre-2010, and it's not free of it. It's not free of the bullshit, but there's a whole lot less bullshit in it.
Right.
None in some cases. Most cases, I would say.
Yeah. But I mean, there's still a lot in some old stuff. You go back to stuff like All in the Family. It's totally left-wing subversive. The dad is an idiot and the hippie liberals are right about everything. That was the premise of that show. It was the opposite of the Andy Griffith show, or there was a show quite literally called Father Knows Best, right? In the 50s, there was a show called that, And, you get this hippie shit in the 60s, and it's just like, dad doesn't know anything. And like, dad kind of created and made everything you have that makes your life good and safe. So why don't you shut up?
Yeah, look at this house you're talking shit in. You're talking shit to me in the living room of the home that I provided for you. Yeah, you see that, and it's ramped up every decade. It's ramped up more and more. Every decade, you start seeing the commercials where mom has her denim shirt and it's rolled up. She has her hands on her hips because the kids can't seem to get the dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper. And dad, he can't put his pants on. He still has shaving cream on his face, and he's trying to leave for work. And you got to say, honey, thanks, dear, because I'm just providing, this fucking 2,000 square foot house in this neighborhood with all this shit that you and the kids need, you know, to survive. But yeah, kick me in my ass, make fun of me when I'm not here. Make fun of me when I am here. Roll your eyes. Tell me how dumb I am and how, you know, all I get. And what does Dad get for Father's Day? You're getting power tools, Old Spice, or a tie. That's it. Piece
Are
of
you a
shit.
cologne guy? I've hung out with you in person a few times. I didn't notice any odors, any perfume or cologne, or are you?
Oh, there are odors. I wear cologne on special occasions. I'm not a daily cologne guy. I'm deodorant, but yeah, if I'm going out somewhere special, I'll get a spray or two of the cool water, but that's it. Not on a regular basis. But when I get old, am I going to wear?
I remember in middle school, I got
slacks. Am I going to wear slacks and button-up shirts and start wearing cologne as an old man? Yes.
Slacks up to your nipples.
Yeah, up to my clavicle, and then where you take your wallet out of your pocket like this. Yeah. And cologne. Yeah, for sure. But I'm not going to dye my hair jet black.
Let me see if I have change. Yeah, that's a technology you think they would have figured out by now, but the hair dye isn't working, man. It's not. The technology's not there. It looks weird. Looks like
it's so bad. It is so bad. That's the male equivalent of the chicks who get Botox and shit, plastic surgery, and look like a cartoon, and nobody tells them for some reason. But yeah, when you're a 75-year-old man and your hair is blacker than it was when you were 20, it does not look good.
It's like shoe polish, dude.
Dude, you are fooling no one. Absolutely no one. Except yourself, maybe.
What about the comb over? The comb over fools no one, right?
Dude, let it go, man. I'm sure when that hair was thick up top, it was something special. And I remember when I was in elementary school,
we had the principals. The principal had a big old comb over, and then we had a festival. We had a spring fling, a spring fair one night at the school. You know, you come and they actually have the thing where he sits and you throw the ball and he falls in the tank of water. He fell in the water. Some kid threw the baseball or whatever, and he comes out and the comb over's like down to his neck on the other side, and he's this shiny ball on top. I was like 8 when I saw that. I was like, that's weird.
Damn. But whatever it is, the hair falling out, the getting gray, just age gracefully, man. You had the black hair, the dark hair, the head full of hair. You had that. It's time to go. But some men, they got the genetics, man. They're an old man, and they got just a full head of hair. So good for them.
A rug on their head,
Yeah.
And like our buddy Dean, he's got that thick mop of hair and he doesn't have gray hair. He tells me, "You got gray hair? I got gray hairs in my 30s." So I don't know. So
yeah, I don't know.
My beard is turned really gray, but strangely, my mustache and the chin has stayed black.
But if that looks natural, because it is, no matter the color and the pattern in your hair, if it's natural, it's gonna look good. When you start fucking with it, when you start monkeying around with the color of your hair, it looks crazy. And don't they have the ones where you like brush it in so it's still a little gray so it's more believable? But I don't know, man. But the ones who and the old man, he's obviously like 80. Old as shit, but your hair and your beard is just a black that doesn't occur in nature. Come on, pops.
You don't have any gray hair yet, do you?
I have some. Like if you look close, I got a few. I can still count them.
Okay.
But no, I look much younger than I am.
On top of my head, not really. On top of my head, it's almost all black. But in my beard, it's gone gray a lot in the last 2 years. I don't like it. I wish I still had a black beard, but whatever.
Yeah, what can you do, man?
It doesn't hurt.
See, I guess if we get like close, you can see I got a few there, but nothing crazy. I'm not. I don't look like an old man yet. But I'm whatever. Whatever happens, happens.
Do you go to a black barber shop?
Whoa.
Do you go to one of those black barber shops where they like get real serious?
Whoa. No, I don't go to any barber shops. I just shave my head. I I take my son to a barbershop, but it's a bunch of Mexican dudes because my son has straight hair. So there's really no need to take him to a black barber. I would, like if I couldn't find a place and like the only people who could cut his hair or like was like a black barber, I would. But the barbershop we go to, those guys are great and they do a great job on his hair and they know how to cut straight hair. So it's a win-win. But my son hair is straight.
Did you ever go to a black barbershop where they line it up?
Oh yeah. I've been to one. I remember for prom, I went to one in the city called Seaside. That was like the closest majority black city where I lived. And yeah, I remember going there for haircuts and shit. But once I started shaving my head, like just because I remember I was in LA and they want to charge me like $30 or something to shave my head. I'm like, what? So once I bought my clippers, I think it was like 15
to shave.
I just been shaving my head ever since. Yeah.
Right.
Like 15 or 16. And just, and then I got my 20s and sometimes I would edge it up, but then I just learned to do it myself. It's just easier to do it that way. But
I taught myself how to give myself a fade. Mm-hmm. I taught myself how to do the fade and I can do it. And the way I do it is, the clippers have the guard that you put on the clipper.
Yeah.
I sanded it at an angle. I have a guard for my clipper that's at the angle to give yourself the fade. So I have two, a left and right one. So I figured out years ago I made that myself. So I've been giving myself haircuts since high school. So I started shaving my head to play football in high school because it was just better in the helmet. And I've cut my hair ever since. So there you go.
Yeah,
Kara wants to know. Keep it high and tight in the Navy or bald?
No, I did high and tight because there's always a dude who can cut hair. If you're in any kind of situation like that, like a dorm room or in the military like that, and you live with, other men, then yes, somebody can cut hair. So yeah, I always got a haircut from whoever was doing it. But my son, we've been going to this barber for almost 4 years. So he was 5 years old. He's 9 now. So he knows those guys. So one of them, he went to the Air Force and he's going to use his GI Bill money to start his own barbershop. And he said he would hire my son to sweep up hair at the barbershop. It was like a little job. So I was like, cool. I said, and you can learn to cut hair because if you can cut hair, you can always make money. And I remember my dad telling me this as a kid, to have a skill, a skill that you can market. And cutting hair, for sure, it's recession proof, economy proof. Men are going to get their hair cut. People are going to get groomed.
Right.
They're going to get their hair cut. Women are for sure getting their nails done, their hair. So, if you can do that, shit, you can always make money. So I'm glad that he offered that to my son.
That's why. That's why you learned to. Right. Yeah, you got to have a skill, man, a marketable skill. That's why you learned to spank people so well. So.
Yeah, I'm good. It's the twist the wrist angles. I don't want to get into it. It's boring, but yeah, there's a lot to whoop an ass the right way.
People don't know. It's like boxing. It's a lot of hip. You got to get the hip twist in there.
But it depends. Hips, Like, what are you paying for? You want, we trying to bring tears to your eyes, or this more of like a right there kind of thing. So it just depends. Depends on what you want. But it was really cool of his barber to offer that to him. That's good. And he'll be making money. Shit. You know how it is, teenage boys start eating like grown men. Then they're the size of grown men, their clothing, their shoes. So hell yeah, get him a damn job. And again, having that skill to cut hair, man, you could always make money. All you need is a chair and one of those little capes to keep the hair off their clothes, get a towel if you have to. And yeah, you can always cut hair and shit like that. So kids, or parents, I should say, if your kids are still young enough, try to get them a skill that they can use. I was talking to my son today about going to college and stuff. And what was he telling me? I don't know. It was something he wanted to, he doesn't like going to school. He's like, Dad, I don't like going to school. School's boring. And I said, I didn't like going to school either. He's like, did you like going to school? I said, no, I didn't really like it. I said, I like the social aspect of it. And he said, what does that mean? I said, I like going to hang out with my friends. I like recess. I like lunch. Not like, to eat, but to hang out, fuck around, joke around or whatever, talk shit. So that's what I like. He's like, yeah, that's what I like too. I said, I know, but you got, 9 more years, and then you'll be done. I said, then you go to trade school and you'll be done. And he was like, but I thought I'd be done with school. I was like, well, 2 more years, go to a trade school. And then I started explaining to him, because he said he doesn't want to have a boss. He's like, what if my boss is mean? What if my boss won't let me do stuff? I said, well, you know how to not worry about the boss and how to guarantee 100% that your boss will treat you well and treat you with respect? So you start your own business. So go to school for it, start working in that industry for somebody else, learn the tricks of the trade, learn what it's like in real life to have that business, learn how it is in the real world to run that business. And then once you learn, start your own. Boom. And that's it. I said, if you work for yourself, the boss will always treat you with respect. The boss will never talk shit to you because you're the man. So we'll see if he does that. But you're talking to your kids and stuff like that. You wonder, is this going to be something that they remember for the rest of their life? Because we all have those things where your parents said something, or they would say something to you all the time that stuck with you. So I wonder, are those moments, any of those moments, the one that are going to stick with him? What is he going to remember that I tell him? Gabe will be back as restarting his computer. Heather says, I've had clients drive from other states for me to cut their hair. Crazy. Yeah. People take that shit very seriously. So people will drive. If you can do something right that they love, fuck yeah, they will. People will get on a damn plane. Heather says, my boss is a slave driving bitch most weeks. I work 6 days. I'm the boss. Hell yeah. Well, see, you can deal with that. Even if you're an asshole to yourself or you overwork yourself, it's you. So it's different. Yeah, None the Miser, great song. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. That's true. 90s, what a good time. Kara says, for me, it's only 2.5 hour drive to get my hair cut. Whenever I'd be home on leave, I'd make an appointment with her. Yeah, that's serious shit. That's some serious shit. And same with a man. Like if you get your hair cut and you got a good barber and he does it the right every time, yeah, you'll go to certain lengths to see that person. And if they branch out, like I was telling my son, if you start your own business, you might bring customers with you, customers who worked or who were customers, at that business you work for. Shit, they might travel with you, with you to your new business. So but what does dad know? What does dad know? That's another thing where I was talking about with my son was at football practice today. You tell your kid, this is how we do it, son, this and this and that, and it doesn't seem to stick, but then their coach tells them or somebody else tells them the same thing and they get it. You're like, I've been saying that shit the whole time. Damn it. Kara says, Jericho, what was your job in the Navy? I can't. So I was an LS. What's LS? Because I think, well, yeah, you're younger than me, so it might have changed. Like they used to be boiler techs, and then they were machinist mates. And I think something else changed. And I think actually boiler techs, I think they became bosun's mates. Some shit like that, and they become machinist mates. Some shit like that. LS, it's classified. well, anyway, to answer your question, I went in undesignated because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I became a gunner's mate. Are they still gunner's mates in the Navy? Because this was, we're talking 20, 25 years ago. Okay, logistics specialist. All right, yeah. Logistics specialist. So you made sure shit got where it needed to go when it needed to get there. Yeah, see, formerly known as SK, storekeeper. Yeah, PC, postal clerk, AK. Oh, what did AK stand for? Can't remember what that stood for. Yeah, exactly. So I figured, yeah, some things changed since then. But yeah, when I was in, they were SKs. Or no, were they PCs? They were SKs before I got in, then they were PCs when I got in. Something like that. But yeah, that's okay, yeah, aviation storekeeper. So I think those are still around. But I heard that boot camp now is pretty lax, I guess. A lot easier than it was. Which sucks. Well, Johnny True said he loaded crypto for the Pacific Fleet. Cool. I was in, I guess, the Atlantic Fleet. Boot camp was way too easy. When did you go through? None the miser. Stop being perverted. Because a buddy of mine, he went through recently in the last few years, and he said, okay, so January 2012. So yeah, that was like 12 years after me. But he said that that Reveille was a lot later, because when I went through, it was like 03, 0330 at the latest. But I want to say he said his Reveille was like 06 or some crazy shit like that, because by 0600, shit, we were standing in line for chow. We already had PT and everything. Like, we had already been out, did our PT, came back, showered, got ready, got dressed and ready.
Are you there, Jericho? So, I don't know what's going on. Guys, I got Starlink internet. I got Starlink, and I haven't set it up yet. And this is why I got it. This internet is the worst. It's Spectrum, but it's what we have. You know, these stupid internet companies, they have like monopolies in your neighborhood. So you have a choice between piece of shit or diarrhea. Like, okay. And we signed up for Starlink, but there's like a waiting list. So my son got it for me for Christmas, and we finally got the hardware on like Monday. So got to get up there and set it up so I can actually have a good internet connection, because I hate this internet because it works for piddly little things. I'm writing an email, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I go to upload like a book to Dropbox, like my comic book pages and this and that, and it's like, oh, it freezes, it times out. Oh, I go on, I probably this is probably like the 10th time this has happened on this show. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's working fine all day for bullshit. And then as soon as you want to actually use your internet to stream or do something, it's like, oh, I don't know, it's choking all of a sudden. It's like, oh, you didn't want to use it, did you?
You don't want to use it whenever, did you?
But yeah, it's sitting in the it's sitting in the living room, the big Starlink satellite thing. So I'm going to get on the roof on Sunday, I believe. So before next Wednesday, we'll have it set up. It's ridiculous, though.
Hey, be careful up there.
Ridiculous. I was wondering why you weren't responding to me correctly when I was talking to you. I'll be fine.
No, I decided.
But when I was talking to you, it was like you wouldn't respond. Yeah. So
I was like,
So yeah, I would definitely have that.
I'm not responding to you. Yeah.
Well, I'm not answering if you're going to ask like that.
Yeah. Don't be so rude. But definitely be careful if you're going to be up on that fucking roof.
Well, thank you. I'll be all right. I'll be all right, baby. I'll be fine. We'll use the short ladder my wife bought me when we got this house. We bought the house. We were working on things. We first moved in here and doing stuff. And I said, run to Home Depot and get me a ladder. And to this day, I still bother her about my 6-foot tall ladder. I tell her, honey, I'm 6'4". Why do I want a ladder shorter than me? I wanted at least an 8-foot or a 10-foot ladder. so I could do things on the roof. I don't want a 6-foot ladder, and then I'm like climbing to the top of it and then trying to get on the roof from there. It's not.
Yeah, that's
not
dangerous.
ideal. So
that is dangerous.
This is a thing that but we ended up getting a big ladder. I got a big one in the back, a big aluminum one. It looks like it's 10 feet or 12 feet. It's a huge one. So I will get up there and I will put the Starlink on my roof, and this will not happen again, which is just fucking unacceptable. So
size matters, people.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about this because I think some of the best stuff we talk about is being married and having wives and stuff like that. And I want to talk to you about like if you know that thing. No, my wife isn't a crazy woman, like she's the minimum level of crazy.
Yeah, they're all a little bit crazy. They all got a little in them.
She's not unreasonable. Yeah, just a touch. But she's the lowest level physically possible of crazy. But you say something. It's not what you said. It's how you said it. And they get all mad at you. But like, you shouldn't be mad. You're just acting crazy. How do you get out of that with aplomb? How do you get out of that with grace? Because if you try and fight it with logic, you're just going to make things worse. But you don't want to be a bitch and like set a precedent where you're going to get told shit all the time and get in trouble or something. How do you handle that when it gets a little crazy? They start getting quite unreasonable.
It's a case by case basis because you got to gauge what level you're dealing with at that particular time. But when it gets a little dicey, you just have to word it carefully because you got to get your point across. You're not, like I said, you're not going to go silently into the night, but you definitely have to customize what you're saying for that particular moment. Definitely stay away from calm down.
Sure.
That kind of shit. That doesn't work. That's like taking a cup of water and throwing it on the grease fire that's happening on your fucking stove. That's just going to make it worse. So don't say shit like that.
We were saying last week, you're just like your mother.
You look and act just like your mother. And if you say mother instead of with an R with an A at the end, that's really going to piss her off. That's really going to piss her off. But, let her, while she's talking, because
there's my wife in the chat.
Why? Yeah, he does. I think, like I said, shots fired, Adrian. But just let them talk because they're going to talk, and just formulate your plan while they're talking. Don't listen to them, but get your plan ready while you're talking to them, how you want to say this, because it could change. You're going to think, okay, this is what I'm going to say, but then they'll say something else, and that changes your whole, speech or whatever you were about to say. So let them go until you get a good plan, and then say it. But don't have this cookie cutter, mass produced answer.
How do you deal with jealousy? You're out somewhere and some woman's like, a little too excited to see you or something like that. Ooh. And then your wife's just, she looked real happy or something later or something like that. Because I'm the kind of guy, I want to stick my fingers in the fire of the candle and pull them out real fast. I want to mess with that because that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
You got to play it real careful. That's a fun one.
Oh, you do. Case by case. Definitely, run back in your mind what the last few days have been like. Have you been in hot water recently? But no, that's happened before. I've had people recognize me. My wife usually handles it pretty well. But I think last year, so I have a niece and she plays volleyball for a club, club ball. For whatever sport, there's always a club ball or club whatever. So she does it for volleyball, and she's good. Like she's probably gonna have a D1 scholarship. She's on varsity as a freshman. She is, tall, prototype volleyball player, and she is good. But when she comes up here, when they come up here to tournaments in a town called Roseville, that's like 30 minutes away, and they normally live 3.5 hours away. So when they go to that tournament, they stay with us. They just go back and forth to the tournament. So they were here at the tournament, and my wife, my son and I were off doing our thing, and my wife and my daughter were off doing their thing, which probably included buying stuff. So we reconnect, and we get back together, and as they're walking up to me, my daughter, not my wife, my daughter goes, "Some lady walked up to us and told us to tell you hi." And I was like, "What?" And my wife's like, yeah, some lady walked up and said, oh, tell your dad I said hi. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Would you think it's okay to walk up to who you know is this guy's daughter and say, tell your dad I said hi? So after not
say daddy, tell your daddy I said hi.
tell your dad I said, hey daddy. So, you know, after I think like the next day or something, she sent my wife a message on Facebook, and it turned out to be a really good friend of mine's wife that my daughter had never met. So she's like, I was like, what's her name? I don't remember her name. What'd she look like? I gave some description. I was like, I don't know. But then it turns out it was her. But I'm like, next time, give a little background. Say, hey, my name is so-and-so. My husband is good friends with him. Tell him we said hi. And maybe tell him we said hi, not I. Tell your dad I said hi. Wait a minute. Come back here. Yeah. And you could tell, you know, you could tell she was took that pretty serious. And I can't blame her, because I know if some guy came up to my son and said, hey, tell your mom I said hi, who the fuck is that? But it turned out to be a friend. So yeah, came pretty close. But
tell your mother I said hello.
But tell your mom, hey, tell us, hey, toots. But my wife, what was funny is she was kind of pissed, but I was laughing because, number one, I done shit wrong. And even though, well, here, let me show you. Turn around. Tell her I said this. But I knew, you know, there was nothing. Who the fuck is this? And I knew there was an explanation for it. So I thought it was funny. She did not, which made it more funny.
Do you mess with it though? Are you like me? Do you like to mess with it? Because I like to mess with it a little bit. I think that's
because it's ridiculous. You know that, man, there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, I love doing that. I love always making inflammatory statements.
I suppose the kind of guy that wouldn't make jokes about it would be the kind of guy that was probably up to something. He was trying to lay low.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, if you're getting all serious about it, like, wait, maybe you did. Maybe you did do something. Or maybe it wasn't this time, but you've done something before. Yeah, it's a mess. It's like stepping in dog shit and trying to get it off your shoe, and all you have is the grass. You're never going to get it off of there. Don't do that. No way. But when you know you're in the clear, it's fucking hilarious.
My wife told me she had a dream the other night, and she was so mad at me when she woke up. We were driving in my truck, and I was telling her, I can't see my glasses. My glasses, they're dirty. And she was like reading a book or looking at her phone, and she looks up, and I have the sunshade covering the front window of the truck. And she's like, what are you doing? And she pulls it down, and we're on the freeway, and I'm driving like that. So I do like getting
getting reprimanded for things that never happen. That is so funny. Yeah, there's always a dream that happens. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened a few times throughout our marriage, and even before. It's so funny because it's a dream. You didn't do shit. It's not even real. It's a fantasy. It's make believe. But sometimes they take it to heart, and it's fucking hilarious. I love to make statements, but it's not uncommon for my wife to start it, because this happens often. She'll like my phone will buzz because I don't have my ringtone on at home because it's fucking annoying. Like if I'm out somewhere, if it's like loud, then y'all turn it off. At home, I'm not tripping. If I missed your call, I'll get back to you. So my phone will buzz or something. I'll get a notification, and she'll, without provocation, I don't ever do this to her, but she has to start shit. She'll go, who's that? Your bitch? Is that one of your bitches calling? So instead of me saying, oh, yeah, right, you're being ridiculous or whatever, I say, yeah, can you keep it down so I can talk to her? Something along those lines. And then she's like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you start this? Of course, I'm going to take that opportunity to twist the knife on you, so to speak. But she does that shit. She'll start it. and then tell me, why would you say that? Why would you say that? Don't you realize what you're walking into every time? So what am I supposed to do?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm on my iPhone, dude. This is such bullshit. Listen, if you ever have the chance to order internet from Spectrum and by the way, Spectrum Internet has been raising my bill like $1 or $2 every month for like a year. Really, it's like, oh, it's 93 this month. It's 94.99 this month. It's 95. And this is how good I fucking hate this internet. I have the Starlink thing. I'm going to set it up. But as long as you can hear me clearly here, we can. Geez, is this working now? I'm off my home's Wi-Fi. I'm on my cell phone signal, so hopefully this works. Jeez.
No, you're good. You're clear.
Fucking ridiculous.
Oh, so far so good.
Okay.
But yeah, we good, man. We good.
So I don't know. What the hell were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about tempting fate with your wife.
Yes.
I made up a story the other day. I'm a big guy, and I was pretty athletic when I was young. And when I was walking around the campus at the University of Northern Colorado, the athletic director asked me if I wanted to join the football team. I played in high school, but I wasn't playing then. I was pursuing art, and I was married. I had 2 small children. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't play college football because you weren't allowed to make any money back then. I would have only been allowed to make $14,000 a year. I think maximum was what they told me at the NCAA clearinghouse office. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't be married and play football and all that at the same time. It wouldn't have worked. But I was joking with my wife about it. Like, oh, man, can you imagine if I did? And then, I got lucky and I trained really hard and I got good and I made it to the NFL. I was a little reckless when I was a young guy. I told my wife I would have had like 10 kids. I would have been that guy. If you handed me $20 million at age 23, I have 10 kids with 10 women. I was telling her this.
All bad.
And then she's all, how would you have 10 kids if you had a wife? Like, started getting mad. I'm sitting there, but not really mad. You know my wife. She's not bitchy. Yeah. She's not bitchy. But we started going down this rabbit hole, so I just fed into it. I said, you wouldn't have left me, baby. You love me. I said, you wouldn't have been mean to your children's half-siblings. It's like, you're going to be mean to kids. You're going to be mean when the other women bring the half-kids to the house. You're such a great lady. You love kids. You treat your kids' half-siblings. You treat them great. I said, you and my baby mamas, you could have all become friends. You could go out shopping with all that money I would have for football.
I'm giving you a new friend group.
Make the best of it. So I don't know. I was trying to, look for the silver lining.
I'm trying to help you out. You always say you want more friends, more girlfriends. There you go.
Right,
I'm doing this for you, girl. Yeah. This is all for you.
Yeah.
You guys help, and it's good. It's good for the kids. They got multiple, women in the house, taking care of them, looking out for them, being there for all those moments, for all those precious moments as children. And then you'll be out.
I am an Arab guy. Maybe I could have a harem. That is our culture, isn't it?
Hey, don't knock it till you try it, buddy.
Hey, you're not some kind of racist, are you? You don't like harems? Because what? Because I'm Arab? Oh, is that what it is?
Is that what it is? You dick.
Yeah.
No, man, I think that's very noble of you.
Yeah.
And very, very unselfish of you.
Right.
To provide that for your wife.
Yeah. No, I don't like to throw around the word hero. But
I'll do it for you. I'll do it.
Okay. Lay it on.
It's very heroic. It was very heroic. And like I said, you're thinking of other people. You're thinking of her and the children, because most kids only have one mom,
Right.
And think of all the nurturing and love you get from that. But if you have 4 or 5, come on now, that's good for the children.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I see the logic in it.
Yeah. I get it. But it was fun to go down that rabbit hole with her and watch her. Like, the female brain's a fascinating thing, because they start to, even though it's not real, it didn't happen. I didn't play in the NFL and have 10 kids with 10 women. That actually didn't happen. But you see them start to get upset and get concerned, and they're like playing it out in their head. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is like getting upset about Star Wars. It's not real. It didn't happen.
But I think that's where they live. They live in that, fantasy world, because you find yourself saying, it hasn't even happened. It's not going to happen, or it hasn't happened yet. It's like getting stressed over something that hasn't happened yet. It's not real. It didn't happen, but boy, they're living it. It's like those dreams. They feel so real, man. Feel so real.
Well, didn't you tell me your wife had a dream you had a girlfriend or you cheated on her and she was all mad? Or did. Someone did. I don't know. You told me something about this.
Yeah, it's perfect. You know, it's fertile soil to plant the seeds of. Now I gotta fuck with you because getting all upset over this thing that isn't going to happen. So yeah, now I got to poke the bear, so to speak, and I love it. I take every opportunity to do that because it's ridiculous. It's not real. What the fuck, you know? So, but if you want to lend that, you know, to it, you know, it's like you know, just ignore it. If just ignore them, they'll leave you alone. But if you didn't ignore it and you're going to give me, you know, that kind of attention, that kind of reaction, I'm going to take it.
Look at this. Look at the comment from my wife. Always so thoughtful. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up, you prick. You prick, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know, I like to, you know, I would, if I had all those baby mamas and a millionaire football star, I'd take care of everyone. I really would, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's fucked up because any young man in that situation, you're probably going to make some really bad decisions because you're going to make them anyway because you're so young. But then to dump $20 million, $10 million, $15 million on it and no supervision. You're out of the house now. There's no mom's not coming in the room 3 times to wake your ass up anymore, or you don't have a college coach who's up your ass doing bed checks and your teachers, you know, talking to your coach. No, it's you and that's it. You know, you might have some buddies on the team, but you're a grown man. It's on you. So yeah, without that angel on your shoulder and just 2 devils, oh man, let's do something fucked up right now.
When I think about how stupid I was at like 23, 22, like right at that age where those guys go to play pro ball. That would have been something.
All bad.
Think about a 23-year-old Jericho Green, and he got $37 million contract, 23 guaranteed. What happens to that guy?
I'm not here now. That's for sure. I wouldn't be here right now. No, I would totally, it'd be pedal to the metal. Because, you know, anything that you're into, you inject money into it, it's just going to get more intense, whether it's good or bad. Like if you really like helping people and now you have millions of dollars, you're really going to do some good in the world. But if you're a young man and you're not tethered to anything and you got your buddies with you, come on, man. These parties are going to be, you know, out of control.
Heather wants to know if you would have a dog fighting ring, a la Michael Vick.
No, I would not do that. That's fucked up. No, I wouldn't have a dog fighting ring. But should he have gone to prison for that? No, that's ridiculous.
No, it was a horrible thing.
That's ridiculous. But how about send the guys who were there? Michael Vick wasn't there. His name was attached to it. I guess he financed like the facilities and stuff. But come on, man, you got to take away a human's freedom for that? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, the justice system is weird to me. Someone will kill someone and they'll get like 6 years, and then someone will rob a bank and they'll get 30. And I'm like, I feel like killing someone's worse.
You know, but if you killed somebody on federal property, now we're going to punish you. But yeah, those Fed charges are crazy. Now, how about this? Instead of dog fighting, it would be dog fighting, but not dog fighting another dog. How about we throw criminals in there, condemn criminals with pit bulls, and then go from there. That kind of dog fighting, I can get behind that.
It's a win-win. We get rid of criminals. We don't like them. Or we get rid of pit bulls. Don't like them either.
Don't like them either. Yeah, one's going to kill the other one. It's a win-win. And if whoever's left standing, we'll seal the room and fill it with gas, and they die too.
What about that whole thing that's going like a crazy meme on the internet right now of 100 grown men versus 1 gorilla? Who wins? And like clearly the 100 men win. Some will die. But humans are so much smarter. They will out-tactic the gorilla, and they'll defeat him.
And they'll outlast him, too.
Yeah, we have
all that muscle.
Stamina. Of any creature on Earth, we have more stamina.
Yeah. So all those muscles, yes. The first 20 to 30 guys, it's going to be devastating. I don't know how we're going to decide who that first wave is, but it's going to be fucked up for sure. But the next 70 to 80 guys, we got this.
They got it easy. Got him.
Yeah, even if you just laid on top of it and suffocated it, you know,
They don't even wear pants. Come on, they don't have a
yeah, pull his dick off or something. Somebody get on his dick. You know, I don't know who's gonna do it.
Rip them off.
Get on it. No, don't do that to it. We're trying to hurt him. What the fuck are you doing? Get off. Get somebody else over here. What the fuck this guy doing? Sorry. How'd you get in the 100 men? But yeah, the 100 men would win, but that first wave, yeah, we're gonna be folding up some flags in a triangular shape and handing it to your wife.
I saw someone say, another guy tweeted out, me versus 100 busty Latinas.
Oh no, please don't.
No, please.
Please don't.
Another guy said 100 women versus personal accountability.
And the winner is still undefeated, personal accountability. Boo, boo. Yeah, dude. That's a KO right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think if it was one guy versus 100 women, yes, like the gorilla, the 100 women are going to win, just sheer numbers.
Right.
But the first wave, you're going to get the shit beat out of you.
Right.
Like the first 5 or 6 chicks that run up are just getting fucking.
Right. I wonder what the cutoff is for women to defeat a man. Is it about 5 women, 6, 7? Like how many? And then the women will just overcome him with sheer numbers and mass.
It'd probably be like.
I don't think 2 or 3 women could defeat a man. I think
it would be like 15 or 20. Probably starting at 20. Okay. Yeah, because dude, 5, forget about it. 10, forget about it. I mean, you got enough juice to knock out 10 chicks because they don't know how to fight. They're going to be reaching for your arms and shit, flailing. You know, one good sidestep, you're going to clean her fucking clock. No problem. But then 15, 20, you're starting to gas out. Somebody's probably going to kick you in your balls eventually. That's going to fucking hurt. Especially if it's from the back. You don't even see her coming. She just fucking puts the top of her foot on your taint and just rattles your ball sack.
That's dirty.
Yeah, you're down. But you first 15 bitches, I'm going to fuck you up for sure. Especially the first. Imagine the first chick. First is. Oh, fuck. Bam! Oh yeah, girl, you getting all this.
Terrible. I saw a thing where it was like 3 professional. It was like Japanese guys, like 3 professional soccer players from Japan took on 100 kids in soccer, and they could just score on the kids easy. But it was like first graders. They were just running all over and passing to each other and scoring goals, and the kids are just screaming and running. And
for sure. I think that's what it was like when those 14 and 15-year-old boys played the. Was it Australia? Either Australia or the U.S. women's team.
Right.
Kicked the shit out of them. Right. Same thing. Same as those Japanese players playing against children. It's the same. You see one guy, I don't know if he's an African dude, or maybe just a dark black dude, American dude. I don't know. But he started at one end of the field and went through an entire college women's soccer team.
I saw that.
They couldn't touch him. Tyreek Hill, he like it's like 20 chicks who were trying to stop him from scoring a touchdown, and he just either juked them or just out accelerated them.
They should have known though, because that guy has like 10 kids or 10 women. No woman alive can stop Tyreek Hill from scoring.
Dude, you try, but you're gonna get, if you make contact with him, physical contact, you're getting pregnant. You bump into him, shake his hand, give him a hug, you're pregnant. But he fucked him up. He fucked him up bad. No one even got close to him. It was so bad.
I want to change gears and ask you something that's very important, and I'm very confused about it. So the last 10, 15 years in the West, specifically America, but the Western world, it's been culture war. It's been feminism, woke shit versus normal, sane people. And it seems like woke has lost. The Star Wars thing, they're dead. They're not making any money. Nobody's watching. Snow White bombed at the box office. That little entitled brat who hates, Trump won the election. Daniel Penny didn't get convicted for restraining that guy. Like, so many things have gone against the woke. Trump is shut down the border, blah, blah, blah. It feels like the woke era's, that battle's mostly been won. But I don't know what the culture is now, because that was the culture. That was pop culture. That's what everyone was doing and talking about. And, oh, my God, did you hear they made Doctor Who gay or whatever cartoon video game? But I don't know what the culture is now. It feels like culturally we're in a holding pattern of like everybody's waiting to see what's coming or what we're going to be or what we're going to do. Do you feel the same way? Because that's how I feel about it. I don't know what the hell's going on culturally.
Yeah, I agree, because so much went into making that our culture, and I even hate to say that, but it was so ingrained and it was so everywhere that now that we're rooting it out, I think we were maybe so focused on rooting it out that we didn't really think about what we're going to replace it with. Because
it's that thing Michael Caine says to Batman in the Dark Knight movie. He says, it's like the Joker says, I'm like a dog. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught the car. You know, like a dog barking and chasing a car. Well, what if he caught the car? What would he do? And it's like, oh, we mostly defeated woke, and what do we do now? Like,
yeah, I think we will come up with something to do, but I think we're just in a place now where, again, so much focus had to go into rooting it out that we didn't give any thought to now what. But I think naturally we'll go back to that, because we're certainly not going to revert back to what we just fought so hard. You know, this cancer that we this fucking gangrene that we just cut out of this wound. We're certainly not going back to that. So I think it'll take some time, and I think it's going to be like, it's going to take somebody who's going to be the first domino to fall, who's going to be the first one to put us back to that, who's going to be the first major movie company to say, fuck it, we're going back to guns, muscles, and tits. That's what we're going back to. Who's going to be the first one to say, this shit is funny again. We're allowed to make fun of this again. You're allowed to make fun of whatever. Or maybe it'll be a comedian. Maybe a comedian is going to take that leap. But somebody, somewhere is going to have to be the first one to say, this is the way we're going. This is, follow me, you know.
Right.
But it'll definitely improve and go back to what it was, what it should have been. And I think it'll be even better than before. I think this time we can completely root out all of the woke. Because like we were saying earlier, even going all the way back to the 70s with All in the Family, there were bits and pieces of that shit in there. But I think the second time around, we're going to get all of it out there, or at least as much as humanly possible. And if it's Carrot Top, hey, that dude's funny. I'll follow Carrot Top. He's yoked. So, yeah, man, somebody's got to do it.
I hope so, because I don't like this waiting pattern. The waiting pattern, it just feels strange to me. It's like we're just hovering, waiting for, like, we've been fighting for so long. It's like all we know culturally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've been institutionalized. We've been in prison so long that this is all we know. Now that we're out, we've been dreaming of this freedom since we got locked up. But now that we're out, holy shit, the world's changed. Everything's flying by, and everybody has these little contraptions in their hands that weren't there when I went. And this new world's crazy. But what's he going to do? Go back into prison with all that butt fucking? No. You're going to stay out here in the world, and you're going to figure this shit out. You're going to get one of these iPhones. Is that what they're called? Yeah, you're going to figure that shit out. You're going to figure out all the new stuff and the new whatever, the new world, and you're going to find your way in it, because you're not going back. Can't go back to the booty house. So we have no
booty house. Is that what they call it?
That's in prison. That's the booty house. So we have no choice but to forge on and create and enjoy this new version of pop culture.
One thing that I see, though, I see a lot of not even right-wing people, not even conservative, but many conservative and right-wing people, but just anti-woke people. It's a circular firing squad. They're attacking each other now. And what I realized is, because you're not a leftist, because you're more conservative, you're not a follower. See, the leftists, they have an easy time falling in lockstep, and they agree with the popular opinion because they're chicken shit. But when you're conservative, you're like, no, I believe in me and individual responsibility. I don't need someone telling me what to do. So I feel like on the right now, or the anti-woke side, everyone's trying to be the boss, and it's causing a lot of infighting, which is really disappointing. Are you seeing that? Because I'm seeing it everywhere. You know,
I don't think I see that as much as you do, but that makes sense. That's how power vacuums work. That's how vacuums work in general. Look at when we got rid of Saddam. Shit went crazy over there when it was pretty stable because we had this one guy in there. But when you create that power vacuum, everybody's going to be, and in this situation, everybody's going to be clamoring to take the lead, to be the, you know, I want to get this thing started. No, I want to get this thing started. I want to get this back on track. But that's a pretty good problem to have. You know, to have a bunch of people who want to do something good, who want to do the right thing. And once we're started on that, and that's something like you mentioned, you know, the last 15 years where it really got intense. We've been asking for this. We've been wanting this, but how are we going to behave when we get it? And when we get back into the swing of things, when we get back to the way it was, I hope that we still are able to look back on this and enjoy where we're going to be because of all the shit that we had to deal with for the last 15 years. I hope we don't just forget about that. And I hope we're able to remember that and enjoy.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I really hope we can get back to just being happy and productive and succeeding and improving. One thing is alarming to me. I read a statistic last night, and it said 16% of men and like 19% of women under 30 are married currently. In 1975, it was 81% of men and 91% of women under 30 were married. This is fatal to any nation or culture. You cannot have a bunch of people unmarried and not having kids and not having families, because having the family propagates the culture. You learn, let's go on the micro. Why do I speak English? Because my parents spoke it in front of me. That's what I learned. You can extrapolate that to all culture. Why am I Christian? Why am I capitalist? Why am I this? Because I learned it in the home first. We are raised by our parents to be kind, to be patient, be loving, or raised to be an asshole, raised to be dishonest. Whatever, you're raised by your parents first. We're not even raising people. How are we going to replace ourselves? How are we going to replenish, not soldiers, but how are we going to replenish the roster of Americans when the young people are hopeless on marriage? They're hopeless. All the guys are terrified. Like, I'm not getting married, so I can get divorced. You can take everything. And all the women are saying men ain't shit. And to me, this is like the number one problem is the missing father. And then they're not even bothering to get married or even have kids. They're aborting all the kids. Like, they're having less sex than like people born in the 30s had sex when they were young. Like, if you look at the statistics, the young generations have been robbed. They've been robbed of just the joy of life, home ownership, children, romance, sex, like just fucking buying a car. Like,
they don't even want to drive anymore.
They don't, but like, what do they even? I think they just doom scroll their phone and look at TikToks. I was at Disneyland last Thursday. Yes, I went to Disneyland and gave them money. My granddaughter was born on Disney's birthday. Walt Disney's a personal hero of mine. I'm still going to go to Disneyland. Sorry. But I was standing there in the rides. And what I love about Disneyland, and we'll go soon. Jericho has to go at 9, so we got to go. I love Disneyland. I'm not a Disney adult. I'm not a weirdo. I'm an artist. You guys all know that. I create worlds. I write stories. I draw. And I love looking at all the buildings and sculpture and stuff at Disneyland. It's such an amazing achievement. And I'm there and I'm just taking it all in, and the castle and the haunted mansion and the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's all so beautiful to me. It's so inspiring to me as an artist. And I see young kids and they're just on their phone. Like, get off TikTok and look up at a fake princess castle. That should amaze you. And I think everything's been taken from these kids. They're not getting married, not doing this, not doing that. And they're just on their phone. Like memes, and TikToks. And it's bad. I read another statistic saying people are on their screens an average of 4.5, 5 hours a day.
Damn.
Yeah. Times 7 days a week. That's over an entire 24-hour period per week. That's an entire day of your week. More. It's more than
a day and a half. Yeah.
It's sad, dude.
Damn. We just found out the other day that my daughter had TikTok, and she knew no TikTok. So we had to rain down fire on her for that. But like you said, man, you learn that shit at home. So not only were the younger people stolen from, but it was almost given away, because why aren't your parents at home combating all this foolishness that you're hearing? That more than 50% of marriages end in divorce anyway, so why would I even try it? Kids, oh, they're so loud, and I want to be one of these, what is it, dinks, double income, no kids. Like, all that shit's glorified. And who didn't want to have sex and get a driver's license under 18? That was it. But it was fortified by pop culture and movies. There were movies, License to Drive. There were movies, Porky's, that were just about adolescent hormones and feelings and getting your license. That's what we wanted to do. We were boys wanted girls.
So you could get girls.
Yes, and getting girls, and then eventually you get married and you have kids. It's just a natural order of things. That was a good thing. That was happy. That was happiness. But they've been sold a bill of goods from Hollywood, academia, and no pushback from home. If my son came home telling me that 2 + 2 is 5, I'm like, well, who the fuck told you that? And I'm going to take it from there and tell you, no, that's nonsense. I've done that a few times. What did they tell you? No, that's nonsense. You know, as much as his little 9-year-old brain can handle, but definitely if he comes home with any bullshit, I'm going to explain to him, no, that's not true. And, you know, don't be disrespectful and challenge your teacher, but in a respectful way, you can have questions, you know, and they would probably appreciate that. But no, I'm going to tell you that this is good or this is bad, period. I'm not just going to let the outside world pour into your little head all this bullshit. But why would you allow your kids to be told that having a family and getting married sucks, it's bullshit. I just want to be on my own and do my own thing. And I'm not gonna go after girls. I'm just gonna swipe left. And dude, just totally fucked up. But it's an inside job. Your parents or lack thereof had to have something to do with that.
Right. Or nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they just stepped aside. I mean, who's worse, the fox that gets into the hen house or the hen that unlocked the door? You know, I think the hen that unlocked the door is even worse,
right,
than the fox. So yeah, they're stepping aside and allowing, you know, the brigade to come in and just poison their kids' mind and fuck it up. Trump was supporting the $5,000 bonus and all these other incentives to start having kids, and there were people out there, I'm sure you can figure out who it was, saying that's racism because you didn't say you wanted people of color to have kids. You just said women. So I know it's a dog whistle for just white women. You want white people. Whatever. White people, whoever. Americans get married and make babies. I'm sorry he didn't specify, okay, I want these racial groups. No. If you're an American citizen, get a ring on it, get a baby in it. That's what he's trying to say. We incentivize our way into destroying the family. It looks like we're going to have to incentivize our way out.
I think that's a good place to end it. You've got a very early start tomorrow. I apologize sincerely to the whole audience about my internet problems here. It's total bullshit. I got the Starlink. It's been sitting in my living room for a day or two. I will set it up before the episode next week. We won't deal with this again. We're going to be golden.
We shan't
have it again. Anything that you want to promote before we get out of here?
No, I just uploaded like fucking 6 videos yesterday, tons of shorts. The channel's very busy. Good. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I've been putting out a lot more shit. So I have a meeting, phone call, I should say, scheduled with somebody tomorrow. Even more improvements for the channel. So keep supporting, keep sharing. Word of mouth, that is still undefeated. You can go back to before we had phones or today when we all have a phone, and with, you know, all the world's achievements at our fingertips, and word of mouth is still number one. So share. And when you're done doing that, share it again. All right. Next week, we'll have a full episode, and we'll be able to get to Yojimbo. Sorry for the fake out this week. I didn't know Jericho had to skedaddle early. Go to bigmancomics.com. Get Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 1, the first printing. We got a couple left. It's my sci-fi epic Empyrean is done. We're just doing some spell checks and some final edits to make sure we don't send it out with any flaws. I don't do that. And the Tyrus book is gorgeous. I'm up to page 76 today out of 120. I hired a colorist. He got to work on it yesterday. He's like a 30-year veteran with the big companies, Marvel and DC. He's a great colorist. We're going to try and get that thing ready for you to crowdfund in the summer. Empyrean, hopefully in the next few weeks. And make sure you follow me on X. I'm Big Man Comics. Everywhere else, I'm Gabe El Taib, and he's Jericho Green. And we will see you next week on Double Impact. Bye-bye.